And then we're going to flip over the y-axis, which is right here. Flip it over. Can we see it's right there, which is the picture that I have of you guys right here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to write an equation of a function after a few transformations, meaning that maybe we are going to shift the graph of the original function some units up, down, left, right, and then maybe do some flips. So here are two keys. The first one is that make sure you watch my previous video because I went over the basic transformations. When you shift the function up, down, left, right, how the equation will change, make sure you watch that, and how we flip the function, how when we multiply the negative. Make sure you're familiar with all the basic transformations. Now the second key is that pay attention to the order because the order matters. Because if you take a look at these two questions, the first one is still absolute value of x, and same thing with the second one. But the first one says we want to go up 2 units first and then flip over the x-axis. But the second one is that you start with this and then you want to flip over the x-axis first and then you go up 2 units. So let's take a look at the graph first to see how it goes, okay? So if you have absolute value of x, that looks like this, like a V. Okay, the first direction says we have to go up 2 times. So you just go up 2 times, so let's say 1, 2. I'm just going to write, well, I'm going to draw the graph first and I will write the equation later on, okay? And then, what does this mean though? I want to flip over the x-axis. In fact, yesterday I was going over this with my students. This is a common mistake I saw. And in fact, I used to do this when I was a student too. It's like flip over, just do the upside down so I get this. This is not correct. Not this. Why? I'll show you. I'm ready. Do you see that this is the absolute value of x, shift up 2 units? Now the direction says flip over the x-axis. Ready? Upside down, like this. Where is the graph now? It's down below here. It's down below here. You have to see the part that's like behind the paper, right? The bleed through part. So the actual answer is actually this. It becomes down here, like this. Okay? Now let's write the equation for each transformation. Starting with this is just absolute value of x, and that's that. Go up 2 times, so that's just f of x plus 2 afterward. So that is just absolute value of x plus 2. The plus 2 is after the absolute value. Now, when we do the upside down flip, you have to negate the whole thing. So this right here is the negative of this whole thing, which is f of x plus 2, like this, which becomes negative parentheses absolute value of x plus 2. So in fact, this right here will be negative 2 after you distribute, but I will just leave it like that. However, if we start with the flip first, so again, we start with absolute value of x, still the same thing. If we start with the flip first, then we are going to just flip the upside down. No worries on that. And then after that, take this graph, go up 2 units. So we will get 1, 2 here, and then that. So this picture is correct for this order. Yeah? So let's go ahead and write that. So in this case, start with absolute value of x, flip over the x-axis. So that means we have to negate the function like this. So after we have this, go up twice, just add 2 to it. So negative f of x, we have that already, just add 2 to it. So that's negative absolute value of x and then plus 2. So pay attention to the difference. Now for this one, we are going to compare these two. We are starting with square root of x, but the first one is we will go 2 units to the right and then flip over the y-axis. But for the second one, we just switch to order. We will do the flip first and then do the shift later. Have a look. Square root of x looks like this. And then we are going to go 2 units to the right. So 1, 2, bring that 2 units to the right. after that, we will have to flip over the y-axis. So do not just take this and then flip right there. No, you really have to take this portion and then flip to the other side. And the picture will look like this. We started at 2. When you flip to the other side, you will get to -2. And then like that. Don't worry, I have the picture ready for you guys. So for the middle one, right here, and then we're going to flip over the y-axis, which is right here. Flip it over. Can we see it's right there, which is the picture that I have of you guys right here. Just like this. It's a lot of fun when you do this function transformations. Now, for the harder part is write the equation for it though. Let's do it one step at a time. 2 units to the right, you just subtract 2 directly to the x. So this is f of x minus 2. Remember, when you subtract a number directly to the x, you move to the right. And then the equation is square root of x minus 2. Done. Now, when we want to flip over the y-axis, it's trickier. Here, you just have to negate the x. You negate the x value. Just like this. Earlier it was 2. Right now it's -2. You want to negate the x. So, you will have f and then -x. And then you still have the -2. No parentheses needed. It's just like that when you want to flip over the y-axis. So this becomes the square root of -x and then still the -2. Okay? So now continue. Still start with square root of x. That looks like this. But first, we are going to flip over the y-axis. So we'll just go like this right away. Flip over the y-axis. Take that, go the other side. And then after that, we will go 2 units to the right. So here is 1, 2. But we take this portion, go to the right 2 times. So it looks like this. Now, flip over the y-axis. We will have f of -x. We just negate the x to do the flip about the y-axis. Done. Now, for this one, it's trickier because what exactly do we do? If you just subtract the 2 right here, it looks like this, which is not the correct picture. What we are going to do is the following. 2 units to the right, you always have to subtract 2 directly to the x. But there's a negative in the front. So it's going to be like f of negative from here. But for this x, it becomes parentheses. You have to do x minus 2. Because you want to subtract the 2 directly to the x. You want to make this happen first. So you have to keep the negative on the outside. So this and that are different because of that extra parentheses. And this right here will give us square root. Just put that into the function, negative parentheses x minus 2. Subtract 2 directly to the x. Directly to the x. So put the negative on the outside. This negative is from here. Keep that negative on the outside.